Welcome, welcome everyone, and thank you for being with us. This is Conciencia Planetaria on Mundo Holístico TV. This program today will be in English. Este programa hoy va a estar en inglés y mañana en 24 horas, si checas el link en YouTube, vas a ver que hay subtítulos en español y todos los idiomas. Okay, so today we're honored to welcome Marijke Kodden. I have a feeling I said that wrong again, but Marijke Kodden, very sorry. Filmmaker and director of KIVA, The Call of the Wisdom Keepers, and Cheryl Angel, Sicangu Lakota Sacred Activist, water protector, and wisdom keeper, featured in the film. KIVA, released in 2023, continues to travel the world through community-based screenings, inviting reflection, ceremony, and responsibility in a time of ecological and spiritual reckoning. We invite you to listen deeply and share your questions in the comments. We'll bring them into the conversation live, so our guests can answer them in real time. So I think I'd like to begin, if we could, with Cheryl. If you could give us an opening, whatever feels appropriate to you in terms of, acknowledging the spiritual support that we need as we go forward.
Thank you, Tracy. It's such a beautiful day, and I'm so appreciative of this opportunity to sit here with you and with Marijke to share not only the blessing that we've all received through this Kiva film, but also to share, our journey of how we got here and how important it is for everyone to recognize where they're at and how we all got to where we are, and the things that we can do to bring blessings to us. So I want to walk us through a visualization um, and then finish with a prayer. But if you could, it'll be really quick, but if you could close your eyes and imagine you're floating on water. Um, so the weight of our body isn't felt the way that it is when we're sitting or standing. And so everything at the bottom half of us is completely touched by water. 50% of us is resting, almost like on an air cloud, but it's water. And the connection that we're making, that our body is having with this body of water, represents our ability to sustain our balance. And so everything that we need is there. We just have to recognize it, and we have to be still in our belief that we're going to float without swimming. Because the majority of us, we want to flip over and we want to start swimming. And we can. But before we do that, we must learn to trust in our own body, in our own abilities, in our own dreams, and especially in our intuition. And remember, folks, as we're laying on this water, as we're floating, we're literally being held by one of our oldest relatives, the water. And she has been here for thousands and thousands of years. She's still here, and she's still available for us to reach out to communicate with, to hold and cherish, and also to protect. She's our sister. She has evolved and has been here as long as the earth has been rotating. So she's been here a long time. And she was a gift from the stars. She was a gift from the stars, just as all the other elements that create this beautiful planet. They were all gift from the stars, and they were all elements at one point. So we have a lot of magic that we can call on, elemental magic within us that we were born with. But what we're going to use now is just our imagination of feeling weightless, without burden, and just resting and trusting the water to hold us, to balance us, to sustain us, to nurture us. And we're going to be thankful and remember all of the things that made it possible for us to be here today. You know, an invitation, maybe last minute, a thought, a prayer of put me someplace where I can be of help. Maybe take me someplace where I can receive help. Doesn't matter what the prayer was. We're all here together. Recognize the beautiful, powerful essence of water and how water sustains us, balances us. And with that in mind, I want you to slowly, slowly lift up one arm and pretend that you're going to circle. Because if you use just one arm and you slowly push the water with it, you're going to turn in one direction only. One direction. And we're going to be rotating. Our lives are meant not to go in just one way. We're going to be using our other arm, and we're going to be putting it out behind us and going the opposite direction. So when we get in tune with our balance, when we rotate one arm and then we rotate the other arm behind us, then we have the energy and the motion to move one way. That motion is going to take our energies from the one side of all of our experience, and it's going to take the gifts that we have from our lineage on the other side. So we're not alone. And that's the image I want you to keep in your mind today, is that we have our own instincts. We have our own desires, our own dreams, our own experiences on the one side. And on the other side, we have our lineage. And many of us may have more than one lineage. That's a blessing too. But it means that we have many ancestors, grandmothers, and grandfathers looking out for us and sharing the experience that they have. And intuitively, through our DNA and through frequency, we can feel their essence and we can draw upon their wisdom and their knowledge to help guide us. So my thought for today is that we are all one family. We all have ancestors, many, many, many ancestors, and they may not be of the same origin, but we come from the same planet, and we are one family on this planet with many diverse experiences. And the challenge today is for us to be good relatives and to see each other as a solution, as a blessing. And with that, let's start.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. That was wonderful.
You're
And
welcome.
water being the element that has always brought us together again and again.
Yes.
So, yeah. So next, I would like to, first of all, before Marijke begins, to give you a little taste of what she was able to create, the amazing film that we're also going to be able to share with you information about how you can watch this film. But right now, we're going to start with the trailer. So, Karina, can you go ahead and give us that trailer now?
Hace más o menos 50 años tuvo una visión Raimundo Tigre Pérez y él pregunta dentro de la visión qué debe hacer y empezó a ver cómo se abre de nuevo la tierra y sale una mujer y empiezan a entrar diferentes seres con vestimentas de muchos colores, de diferentes especies de vestimentas, pieles, tejidos, con diferentes personalidades, diferentes lenguas, diferentes sensaciones espirituales que dejaban en ese fuego, y ese fuego empezó a acrecentar, hasta que esa mujer empieza a cantar.
Todos los sabedores lo decían, nosotros perderemos la conexión, la espiritualidad, y comenzaremos a vivir más física, valorando más materia que valora la espiritualidad.
El origen de cada pueblo tiene en su haber un gran conocimiento que actualmente no se entiende aún. Las tradiciones que aún están vivas nos dan la oportunidad de recuperar ese conocimiento.
It's very important to understand the symbolism of a human being coming out of the earth, out of a kiva, as the person comes up, and then he turns around and comes back into the kiva again, This is important to understand, because we do come from Mother Earth.
Aún tenemos una gran oportunidad de recuperación, de recuperar las raíces de la tierra, por favor. Son nuestras raíces, son las raíces de la humanidad, y este conocimiento no se puede perder.
The reason why we are here, all of us, we had a call, and we still have got a call to bring the world together. The world, I mean, the human race.
E o Kiva anda aonde está doente. O local onde está doente, o Kiva vai e cura.
Mata o que
Oh gosh, it still brings tears, even after having seen the trailer many times and the film itself only once, but looking forward to seeing it again soon. Marijke, is Kiva your first film? Can you talk a little bit about that and how it came to be?
Yes, I can. Well, actually, I mean, nature has always been my big inspiration in life. And as a little girl, I was always in nature, really interested in flowers, to determine them and to dry them, to keep the colors. And then I went to the Academy of Arts, and I studied design and photography. And that's what I've actually been doing for the last 30 years. And then I came in contact with KIVA. I saw photos of the KIVA ceremony in 2017 in Holland. And I found out who was the organizer, and I asked if I could photograph. That was my first question. And the answer was, we actually have a photographer. So the answer was no. And I just started a film education, like a few months before. And I asked, so can I film then? And the answer was yes, to my surprise. And then I thought, oh, I have to practice a little bit. But I had almost a year. This was in September, I think. And the next KIVA ceremony in Holland, so the third one, would be the next year in August. And I saw 7 8 elders on the pictures, and then when I arrived at the KIVA ceremony in 2018, there were 50 wisdom keepers from all continents together. A little bit like on the picture behind me, you can you can see this is a photo taken in Holland. And yeah, that's where I started filming, but really with the idea of, this is 4 days of ceremony, and the fire is burning 4 days and 4 nights. And I will make a short impression of these 4 days, and that's it. And then my first interview was with the 4 men that you saw in the trailer. So Maori elder, Aboriginal elder, Maasai elder, and a Modoc elder. And what they were sharing with me in half an hour, I thought this should everyone hear. There were so many, puzzle pieces for me. I mean, I had always been traveling the world and unconsciously looking for tribe and tradition and origin, and yeah, it all came together. My love for nature, but really the insight when they were sharing that basically the original peoples who still hold the original instructions, they can inspire us to reconnect. They never lost connection with Mother Earth, with all living beings. They're totally in contact with it, because Junior Feder was saying, there's a hidden connection between all the indigenous tribes. We don't need words to understand each other. And Tora was saying, I see me, I see me, I see myself in you. These were 4 men that met each other 2 days before, and they were friends for life, or maybe even former lives. I mean, they were it was peace, like them sitting together and chatting together and saying, let's put our hands together. That's how it can be. That's how easy it can be. Like people from different cultures together and being respectful and having joy together. So that's where my idea of a documentary started. And then I was invited to come to Mexico, and that's where I met, amongst others, Cheryl Angel.
Mm-hmm. To me, it's really phenomenal that this is a first film, because it was done with such grace and professionalism. And honestly, when I first saw it, I felt really strongly I should have done this film. I don't know why I didn't do this film, because I know and deeply respect the founders of this organization, the KIVA organization, and have known them for years. And I didn't, but Marijke did do it, and I'm so glad that you did. So,
Can I actually, because I forgot that I'm feeling really honored to be invited by you, Tracy, same as Cheryl, to be here, and being honored that I was allowed to make this film, because it was not obvious that, recordings were being made. And in the end, I think it was my advantage of not being a very experienced filmer, coming with this big camera. I just had this very tiny camera, not even so professional, but not intimidating. Just, I think people felt that I was part of the family, intrinsically inspired by everything that happened, and that allowed me to speak with everyone. And maybe Cheryl can share. I hope everyone felt the trust that I was creating a space for them to share their message in a safe way.
Mm-hmm. Cheryl, do you want to share a few words now about your experience of those moments when you met Marijke and she was filming?
I've always been really adamant about the groups that I work with and the places that I go to, and I really instill upon the people who are there that I am happy to work with you, but I need you to create a venue or a platform or a forum where Indigenous people can tell their story. You know, that's always been my goal, is to work with people who are doing that. And I've told that to Marijke, I've told that to the people that I work with, because it's really important that we tell our own story, and not, have a third party or fourth or fifth party speaking on our behalf, because it's our story to be told. So I'm really happy with Marijke, because she does that. She created a platform where wisdom keepers can come and tell their story. And also Tracy, you're also wonderful at doing that too. And because of that, my closest friends and the people I work with repeatedly, and I go back and to work with them, is because they are creating these platforms for Indigenous people to tell their story. So I would like to thank the producers of this show also, because our voice is rarely heard, but at this point, and at this time, our voices are really important. So thank you. Thank you, Marijke, for
Absolutely. I
remembering.
would even go further and say not just important, but essential. Absolutely essential for us to be listening to now, which is one of the reasons why I say long life to this film, which Marijke has told us. Well, first of all, before we get into her really interesting and innovative distribution method, can you talk with us a little bit about the message of this film?
Yes. Well, there are more messages in this film, and actually in Holland, where I do the on-site viewings mostly, a lot of people come more times. They return and they say or give back that they say and hear something else every time. Yeah, and I suppose it's also in the position that you're at that moment, what is appealing to you. But yeah, the main message is about KIVA, and KIVA is a ceremony which has been existing for more than 3,000 years. Actually, the ancient people in North America, they already had KIVA ceremonies. Like the Hopi in Pueblo, they had partly underground spaces where they held ceremonies, where they invited the chiefs of other tribes to smoke the peace pipe for a better understanding between the tribes, and also to pray for Mother Earth. So KIVA, which has been revived after a vision of medicine man from Mexico, Tigre Ramundo Perez. I mean, after Columbus, and we know what happened after that, these kind of ceremonies got forbidden. But Tigre Ramundo Perez, he had a vision in 1968, and we think he saw approximately this. So a circle of elders gathered around a sacred fire, giving their prayers to the sacred fire in their native languages for the benefit of Mother Earth, for unity and diversity, for better understanding between the tribes, but also as a statement, basically, well, in a way, to show that there is a connection between all the indigenous tribes, that there are original principles who are still being lived by the original peoples, totally in balance with nature, with Mother Earth, and with each other. And that can be an inspiration for us to remember these principles, like reciprocity, like giving back the earth more than we take. I mean, we're in the capitalist world, we're only taking, right? We totally forgot about reciprocity, and the indigenous people, it's about how can I give back the earth more than we take. So yeah, there's like 7 principles, like responsibility, and Cheryl can also talk a little bit more about that, but not taking responsibility for the next generation, but 7 generations ahead. and about relatives. That's, all the plants and animals are our relatives and not things that we can take out of the earth. So basically, the main message is also, how can we go back, or how can we restore the balance by respecting these principles that have been there for ages, but we forgot about it. So how can we remember, reintegrate, and act upon it?
Absolutely. And I think we are needing this information and this guidance. And I mean, it sounds simple, but specific ways in which it is done more and more in these times. And so I think this film, it was released in early 2023, as we said, and since then, you've carried it forward largely just by yourself, without any major funding, without institutional backing or distributors, choosing instead an innovative community-based nonprofit concept. At first, by organizing many KIVA evenings up until now with wisdom keepers and music, and then later to reach people outside of Holland, you developed an online screening model, which we'll talk more about later. But so the upcoming KIVA night that you're going to be having in the north of Holland on the 22nd follows this model. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you developed that model and how that has gone for you? Some of the highlights?
Yeah. Well, I want to say that I didn't develop the model. I mean, I was like, okay, I have a film now, and Cheryl was with me at the moment because I applied the film to the International Film Festival in Amsterdam, and people said, oh, it will be accepted, and then there's a distributor, and then, my work is done. But that didn't happen. It was not accepted. Cheryl was there when I was quite disappointed, and she said, don't worry, Marijke, something better will come out of this. And I was like, to trust on that, okay. And then I thought, okay, I just organized a premiere in Amsterdam. So I wrote to a few cinemas, and one got back and did a very good offer, which meant they wanted to have the technical cost covered, but for the rest we could split. And then this was on the 10th of December, Human Rights Day, on a Saturday evening, and I was like, how can this be? This would be the perfect day to have this premiere. And then Toro, the Maori elder, he stayed in Europe actually after he came to the first KIVA in 2017. So he was in Belgium at the moment, and I invited him to come. And then Shirley Krenak from Brazil, she also had a documentary which we were gonna show together with the KIVA documentary. And then at some point, I mean, within days, we had 5 premieres, and within days it was sold out, and we decided to bring her over so she could do the Q&A for her own film and be at all the premieres. And so people were so enthusiastic about this idea of not only getting the wisdom from the movie, but also hearing it straight from wisdom keepers, elders, and other speakers, and with the music, which was like an introduction to the movie, which made that people came from the outside busy worlds, like with a harp music or a handpan, already could go from the head to the heart and start the film in another way. So it wasn't a preset idea. It just happened, and from the feedback that people gave, I just continued to organize these evenings with speakers, with wisdom keepers. Cheryl Angel has been on quite a few, but also other wisdom keepers, and now 3 years later, it's still moving, and more organizations, bigger organizations like World Wildlife Fund and Greenpeace are also connecting to it last year. So we had beautiful evenings with them, and also some lines with politics have been made now, and it's all non-profits. I mean, there's no such, it's not profit. So I don't live of it, to say, and that's totally fine. I mean, this project is like, it came totally from the heart, and it still comes from the heart, and the idea is to inspire as many people as possible so that they can be moved, that something inside of them awakes, and that they feel the call to contribute to a more beautiful world, and to restore the balance. That's my inspiration and my goal.
Yeah, amazing. And I think it bears repeating that since 2023, you've done about 250 on-site screenings, bringing in speakers every single time. There were wisdom keepers and music, and just really touching people where they live, literally. So that's quite wonderful. But then also, as you realized you wanted to open the circle globally and share the film with the world in a bigger way, you began the online KIVA gatherings. And the next one I want to mention now will be on February 22nd. So that's what gave us the idea to do this interview. And this is actually the first in a series of interviews we're going to be doing. The next one being with the founders of Raíces de la Tierra, the organization that organizes the KIVAs. But these online events are really, it captured my attention immediately that you were donating the proceeds to the organization that organizes these events. Can you tell us a little bit about how you decided to do this and how it's all come together for you?
Yeah, basically, I started getting emails from people outside of Holland, really wanting to see it, or very keen to see it. And I thought, well, then the only way it looked to me is, either ask people if they can organize one in their community, but then it would be great that they would first see it as well. So then the idea, actually, now I think of it, in 2021, I also had like a photo exhibition nearby here in Amsterdam. And then for the opening of this, it was actually like a spiritual center which opened. We already did like a Zoom meeting with Cheryl Angel as well, with Toroa, and Heriberto was there as well from Raíces de la Tierra. I suppose I remember doing that, and people really loved it. And I mean, on site, when we're physically together, that might be even more, connecting. But even in a Zoom meeting, it is possible to create like an atmosphere of community and togetherness, and especially when the elders are sharing. I mean, it's really beautiful. Cheryl and Carola Esparza from Chile. She's from the Wisdom of the Heart. She's also really beautiful in sharing. And Raquel Haug, she's a Dutch elder. She will be there as well at the next online event. But we mostly have different wisdom keepers. So it's really beautiful to connect, and also the advantage of doing it online. I now have 6 different subtitle versions, so we can share all the Vimeo links, and you can choose with what language you want to see it. I have Spanish, Portuguese, English, German, French, and Dutch. Yeah, and it makes sense. I mean, I started with the English one, and then in Holland, some cinemas said, "Oh, we only want to do it if you have the Dutch translation." And I was like, "Oh, then yeah, well, that's costing some money." But I did, and the film is also about the native languages, and it's your mother tongue, and it makes more sense. Yeah, when you see it subtitled in your own language, you get more of the message, of course. So that's also an advantage of doing it online. Wherever you're in the world, whatever your background, you can come in and watch with your own subtitles.
Yeah.
And then sometimes there's someone from Berlin in this online event and who says, well, but now I'm going to organize it in my community in Berlin and create an on-site evening. So that's even more beautiful if that comes out of that. Like now, I just shared a link to someone in Papua New Guinea who is doing he's part of it's called like Forest, but like Fair Forest organization, and they are doing their year planning this week, and they're going to show the documentary, so I'm sharing the link with them. So yeah, I get emails from organizations sometimes like, how can we share it with our community?
Oh, so is that to say that anyone listening to this now, this interview, might organize an event in their community?
Of course, yeah. And then it would make sense, of course, if you first see it yourself. Then it makes it easier to inspire your community as well, because you know what it is. So then I invite you to come and be with us on the 22nd of February, and join us online with Cheryl and with Carola and with Raquel, and yeah, that will be very beautiful and heart. There she is as well.
Beautiful.
Cheryl.
Yes.
And we
have
Shirley from Brazil as well.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to be seeing on February 2nd. Those three beautiful women, along with Marijke. And so really mark that date on your calendar, February 22nd. It's going to be really special. And so now I'd like to shift the mic over a little bit to Cheryl, because Cheryl, you've been such a key person here in my life and in Marijke's also, in being an ally for us as we do our work. And I had to say, we white people need allies too, as we try to be allies ourselves. So Cheryl, many people first came to know you through your involvement at Standing Rock. But of course, your path didn't end there. It continued to many other lands, waters, and communities, and one of them being Mexico, which is where I actually met you. I did not run into you in my brief time at Standing Rock. But after Standing Rock, let's see. So where we met was in Bacalar on the Caribbean coast. And so that was in Mexico. And after I met you, you found your way to the KIVA circle. And that's where you met Marijke. And so I have a couple of questions for you about that now. First of all, how do you understand the Standing Rock period of your life in relation to the work you're doing today? And then secondly, what helped you to discern when and where to say yes along this path?
Thank you. I want people to know that Standing Rock happened in 2016. But in 2014, my tribe, the Rosebud tribe, the Sicangu Lakota Oyate, our nation, we had strategized what the best way was to fight the KXL pipeline, which was going to build over our aquifer, a huge aquifer that many states shared. But it was going to be crossing over tribal territory, tribal lands. And so the strategy was that we're going to set up a prayerful camp, establish a camp that was going to draw attention and do outreach to stop this, the KXL pipeline. And so it started with a teepee. And there was a beautiful article that I read, and it said, "Can a teepee stop a pipeline?" And so we set up 7 teepees. We called all of the spiritual leaders in the area. And for one day, we had prayer, we had outreach, we had a big dinner when we called everybody to tell them what was coming. And the spiritual leaders made a sacred bundle to stop that pipeline. And they buried it directly on the path of that pipeline. And everybody there prayed. And so it was started in ceremony, and that camp was open for 2 years. And I was prepared for Standing Walk by hosting and living and supporting the camp that my tribe started. And so I learned how to do outreach. I learned how to research the internet. I learned how to use Facebook. And it totally, and I was retired at the time. So I was taking these, fun courses at the local university, which is Sintegleshka University, our university. And I was actually considering getting another degree. But literally this, when KXL came to our lands, when we knew it was coming, I got up off my couch and I decided, and I contemplated it. It took me about 6 weeks. I went to the ceremony and started praying, and we sang together, and then we ate together, and then everybody left. And a huge storm came. We're talking like a blanket of snow came that night and covered the whole camp. And so they started a Facebook, and they were posting from their page, it's sub-zero weather, we're snowed in, no one can come in, everybody who spent the night can't get out, but we have a tremendous amount of food, we have everything to survive. It's not new to us to be, without electricity out in a storm. Mm-hmm. So they were doing live posts on Facebook, and every day the things that they had to go through were shared on their Facebook, with photos and cameras. And something inside of me started turning, and it started moving, and it got bigger and bigger within me, and I couldn't ignore it any longer. And I packed a bag and I went there. And I stayed. And that was a new chapter of my life. And from that point on, in 2014, I have been traveling for water, because I learned at that camp, water speaks, water heals, water within us. We can claim that water, but I can actually communicate with this water on a very base level, on this water, to someone else's water. And so water has many, not only functions and purposes, but dimensions. It's elemental. It traveled from the stars, it came here. I want to say at that time I call it, but right now I call her she. And she, I'm going to skip over about Standing Rock, because it was her influence and her guidance that literally took me to all of these different places, because they themselves were under their area, their land base was under attack. Their water needed to be defended. And she was sending out these messages from all the places, because the majority of all the places on this planet where she is under attack, the danger to her comes from mining projects. And it's really important for people to know that mining kills water. Once that water is used in a mining process, it's dead. Just like taking the life of water, to extract oil, to extract whatever they're extracting. There's a price, and the price is water. And for the history of mankind, the greatest truth is ni wichoni. And in every language, there's that saying, but Standing Rock made that phrase, that statement, internationally known. Ni wichoni. And we even sing a song. We even have a song called Mini Wichoni. But it's water's life. And for the humanity of this planet to continue to be healthy, and not just for us. I mean, we're the last ones on the list, but that needs water. The first is the earth. The earth needs water. The plants need water. There's a hydrological cycle going on the planet based on water, and it impacts the climate. It impacts everything. So yeah. So for me, water. I was at Standing Rock, and I said, I thanked all the people who came, over 400 tribes, and 1,000 more allies came, and the fire was there. And so I was always talking to the fire. People were going to the fire. We would send people to the fire so that they could speak, so that they could have that relationship with one of our first relatives. And when I was at the fire, I saw all these flags, from all the hundreds. We had flag row, hundreds of flags were there. And I had this epiphany looking at these flags, and I saw them as I drove by. Each one opened up so I could see the full flag. And I thought, oh my goodness, this represents all the different tribes that are here, that stand in solidarity with us. And I wanted to reciprocate. Like the water in me was talking to me, and I was ignoring it. I was trying to keep it down on the inside of me, but it was literally telling me that all of these nations, that they had literally brought their water to us to help defend our water. And so to reciprocate that, we need to go to these other nations whose water is under attack, and we need to bring our water to defend it. So the water within us, carries so much knowledge, carries our history, our DNA, our ancestry, our heritage, our culture. It carries everything, and it's within us. So we carry it. So that was that's the thing that drove me to go to all of these places around the world. And in addition, I want to say that the people who listen to their water, who understand the power, the essence of the water that they carry within, they're ceremonial people. They're ceremonial people because they have they know that the water is sacred, and that the water is the life giver of everything on this planet. So they have a really good relationship with water, and their language, and their ceremony, and their history, and their culture within them, within this water that they carry. And so I was introduced to people along this journey. I went to Mexico, met handfuls of indigenous people down there whose water, whose land needed to be defended. And they saw Standing Rock, and they understood the power of unity, of solidarity. And they really supported Standing Rock. And I ended up in their hands, in their territories, in solidarity with them, defending their land and their water and their culture and their children and their future, because it's all tied together. It's not just, it's water. It's all things are all tied together. So it's important that people recognize that everything is related to one another. And so, yeah, I was in Mexico. And through those contacts in Mexico, I ended up in so many places. I've been to Alaska. I've been to India. But in Mexico, I've also been to Guatemala. I've been to Colombia. I've been to, let me see, where did I go? I went to Peru. But I met these people who also are praying for the earth, and they had this staff. And the staff was entrusted to me for a year. But COVID happened, so I ended up having it like almost 3 years. But I prayed to this staff and said, I will protect you, I will listen to you, and I will follow you. Because I don't have an intention in my brain to do anything, that to really have a plan. I don't really have a future. I don't have a plan, but I had this staff. So I entrusted this staff. And
Cheryl,
once I let myself go, I went all over. So I guess that's the story.
yeah, Cheryl, I want to hear this story in great detail and in depth. And I'm going to invite you in April because that will be the 10th anniversary of Standing Rock, correct?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to ask your help to do a special program about that. But I cannot believe that our time is almost gone. And we do have a program right after this one, Nueva Mujer. So we have 2 minutes now. And I want to acknowledge the commentary of our director, Gerardo Said. He says, Tunkashila, Tasokumatimiak, from Mexico, Tenochtitlan, at Cuicuilco. Said, as we call him, is a big fan of yours, Cheryl, and he's been very, very happy with your interviews and would like to see you keep coming. So I'll just take our last minute to say that February 22nd, mark your calendars and also keep your eye on this spot because very soon we're going to be having the founders of Raíces de la Tierra, the people that the KIVA film revolve around, the source of this amazing organization that brings together the wisdom keepers, are going to be with us too. They have agreed. So we're really excited about that. And that interview will be in Spanish. And again, you can follow up all of these interviews on YouTube 24 hours after transmission with all the closed caption subtitles in different languages. And you can also follow it on Facebook and even Spotify. We're keeping all of these podcasts on Spotify. So thank you for being with us. Thank you again to, sorry?
Oh, I just want to say, Heriberto Filisenor and his wife, Nubia Rodriguez from Raíces de la Tierra, they've been continuing the work of Tigre Perez for the last 30 years and bringing the fire of KIVA to the 5 continents last year. So that's pretty beautiful. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you, DL, for being there for us. DL says she'll look forward to continued conversations with Cheryl and the Wisdom Keepers. So thank you so much to Conciencia Planetaria Mundo Holístico TV. And I think that will be all for today. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Tracy.
Bye. Thank you so much, Cheryl and Maria. Bye-bye.
Thank you.